So I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. This tag was created by a Brenda C, and it's supposed to help us new booktubers introduce ourselves to the community and explain why we started Booktube. So let's get right into it. Question number 1. Why did you start Booktube? I don't really think that this question is easily answered for me because I have a lot of reasons why I started Booktube. I think one of the biggest reasons is that I live in Germany, where I don't really find a lot of people who read a lot, let alone read in English. Whenever I go to a bookstore, everything's in German and there's just like this tiny English section with maybe 50 books or something. I just really love to join a community where I can express my feelings and express my thoughts with people who love books just as much as me. Another reason is that I decided to start a blog about a year ago where I wrote reviews. I'm still currently doing that, but I came to the conclusion that I think I prefer to communicate my thoughts and my feelings verbally rather than on paper or just written on a blog. I think my opinion kind of shines through better because it's hard to sort of integrate my personality in something that's written. And another reason is that I just talk a lot. I bombard my boyfriend with all the books that I love to read, and I think it drives him absolutely insane. So I think that having a YouTube channel would be a great way to join a media where I can just direct my energy and reach out to people who feel similarly about books as I do, hopefully. Question number 2. What are some fun and unique things that you can bring to Booktube? So I have a really wacky personality. I'm a bit crazy, I like to do weird things, sometimes I say things before thinking. I think that having a sort of wacky and sort of fun personality could be a good asset to the Booktube community. Also, another thing is that because I grew up in Holland and then I moved to Germany about 6 years ago, I'm hoping that I can reach out to Booktube followers who are also living in Europe and to show them that they are not alone, that there are people outside of the US who love to read English books and who feel just as integrated into the Booktube community as they do. To be honest, I don't really know what I'm going to bring to the Booktube community. I think that's something that will sort of just sort itself out soon enough. I just hope that people enjoy my channel and can relate to the way that I feel. I hope that I can post discussion videos where I can maybe reach out to people who feel similarly as I do. Just be able to exchange our thoughts on how we feel on certain topics and certain books. Question number 3. What are you most excited for about this new channel? I think the thing that I'm most excited about doing are book tags. They always seem so fun and wacky, just really original, and I just think that they're great. And the other thing that I'm most excited for is just to connect with people and to just make new friends and have a good time and share our experiences. Question number 4. Why do you love reading? I think that there are infinite reasons why I love reading, but I'll mention a couple of the ones that I feel have the most influence on why I love reading. I grew up as an only child. I had to just find ways to entertain myself, and so I just read a lot. Every day, all day, everywhere. I think reading is also a great way to gain insight into people's thoughts that you wouldn't have otherwise. A good example about this is reading books about mental illness, where the protagonist or side character has some form of mental illness. I don't think a lot of people are aware of just what people are going through, and I think that if you're reading a book that is very accurate, where the author has done a lot of research, you can just, gain insight as to how these people feel and just broaden your horizons on topics that you wouldn't have otherwise encountered if you didn't read something about it. Reading is also a great way to escape reality, just dive into new magical worlds, meet people that you wouldn't usually meet. I think if you're reading a book, even if it's not necessarily told from a first-person perspective, you sort of become that person, you relate to them, you live life through their eyes. Also, I think that reading really stimulates our imagination, especially in regards to creating the world that we read about in our minds. I think that it just really helps us grow, helps us develop, shapes our personality. Question number 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? I think the series that most influenced my reading is Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. This book series is just my absolute favorite book series in the entire universe. I cannot put into words just how much I love this series. and I'm sure that in future videos I will elaborate on that. Question number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I would just really like to ask them where they draw their inspiration from for their videos, where they get their cool and crazy and funny ideas from, how they build up their confidence to interact with the camera the way that they do, and whether they are planning on visiting Europe anytime soon. Question number 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be hardest to overcome? I think mostly just my confidence, being able to talk to the camera openly and not feeling insecure about the way that I look or the way that my mouth is moving or the way that my hair is looking. I think it will be really hard while I'm editing videos to not cringe at what I'm saying. Question number 8 is, when did you start reading? So when I was younger, I was just reading. Since before I even remember, I was reading things like Harry Potter, I was reading a lot of Jacqueline Wilson books. Then when I moved to Germany, I think that I got into my second phase of reading, and that is when I started reading Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. I think I was about 13 or 14 when I first read this. I absolutely just fell in love with the characters, fell in love with the story, fell in love with the plot. And that was also the point in my life where I started reading House of Night. I know that a lot of people don't like House of Night. I read those books during my move to Germany. It was a very difficult time in my life. I didn't have a lot of friends. I think these books will always have a very special place in my heart. I know that they're not perfect. I know that the writing is very weird at times. They just have a very special place in my heart. Now, when I moved schools, a friend of mine lent Vampire Academy to me. I absolutely devoured books. I think I read all 6 of them over a 2-week period. I think this was during the Christmas holidays. When I turned 16, I got together with my boyfriend. He had an Amazon account where he got free Amazon Prime delivery because he's a student. So I asked him whether he could order the books for me because I remember just loving them so much when I borrowed them from my friend. And he got them for me. He even gifted me the last 2 books. That is just like how I fell in love with the world all over again. I've read them about 6 or 7 times now each. I relate so much to the characters. I relate so much to the story. I see so much of myself in both Rose and Lissa. There are no words. And it was basically the series that opened up the floodgates to every single book series that I've read since then. Then I started reading things like The Hunger Games and The Mortal Instrument, and I also started reading Divergent. Those book series were sort of the turning point at that point in my life, and that is also where I started watching booktube videos. I got a lot of recommendations, I started reading even more. That was also when I started to decide that I really wanted to write a book of my own, and I have finished a really rough draft of it. So that was basically my story. I'm sure that there are a lot of things that I forgot to tell you guys, but I hope that through watching my videos you guys can understand just how much I just love reading. Question number 9. Where do you read? I mostly read on my bed. I have these fairy lights that hang right next to my bed and create this really kind of warm yellow light. It's really good for my eyes, and I feel really comfortable. I snuggle up against the wall, I take out my blankets. If I want to be a bit more social, I'll read on the sofa upstairs. And last but not least, question 10, what kind of books do you like to read? I read young adult fiction, everything. Whether it's romance, whether it's supernatural, whether it's fantasy, whether it's dystopian, I read everything from the young adult genre. I also like to read contemporary from time to time, and also new adult. I also have read some adult romance books. I especially love the ones from PC Cast because she writes a lot of mythology, and it's just really steamy and nice. So that was it for the Booktube Newbie Tag. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to get some new videos out to you guys soon. If you liked my video, please subscribe, and I hope to be seeing you guys soon. Bye!